Alright guys, I have my Keltec p11 here. This is a 10+1 magazine. That means I have 10 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. It is a double action only pistol, meaning that every time I pull the trigger, the hammer has to cock all the way back to the rear and go back forward to reset. It is polymer framed. It does have a steel slide and a steel barrel, 3.1 inches on the barrel. It is 5.6 inches in length from tip to toe, and from height it's 4.3 inches. It's just barely 1 inch wide. It does have a slide catch and a magazine release here located for the thumb. There's some modifications I did to the polymer frame that I'm not too worried about, but you know, they're there. They help me with the grip, as well as the pierce extension on the pinky gets full 3 fingers. I appreciate that. So the original pistol came with a stainless steel slide. I didn't like that stainless steel slide because I had heard rumors and seen that basically it breaks. So I had reached out to Keltec and they replaced it for me. I'm going to go ahead and break it down now into its big parts, and we'll see what it looks like inside. So I have the takedown pin right here. I use the snap cap in order to do that. Release the slide. The slide comes off in one piece. The frame comes off in another piece. This is actually a grip frame, kind of like your 6-hour P320. It's just a lot older. This particular pistol was made in 1996, and the style of pistol was born in 1995. So it's well ahead of its peers as far as having an insert with the firing mechanism that is the firearm inside of a polymer grip frame. Here's your hammer, and here are your slide rails. Pretty simple design, but they are, you can't see it maybe, but they are extremely long slide rails that go along the entire edge of the frame, except for the dust cover, so that's pretty awesome. Here is your slide and your barrel and your recoil assembly. We'll start with the recoil assembly. This is a plastic guide rod and 2-spring system. It is not captured. That is a 20-pound spring that was modified from the 17-pound factory spring. Next I have the barrel. We'll cover this. 3.1 inches stainless steel, R416. It does have 1 in 16 rifling. Not a big deal there. It's pretty standard for such a small barrel. And it does have a locking lug here on the top of the barrel hood in order to lock it into the slide. The feed ramp is also pretty clean. I've never polished it, but it does have a pretty good sheen to it, especially for its age and its years. This slide is a blued slide on steel. It does have an ejector, or an extractor, excuse me. It does have plastic 3-dot sights. Not a huge fan, but I colored the front one with some glow, and the rears already had it. If you can see right down in there, that is your firing pin, which strikes inside the breech face right here on the back of the round as it's locked up. The lockup is pretty decent, but I attribute it to being similar to an AK-47, where they didn't want it to be too tight, because that can cause issues with feeding, extracting, and ejecting, and occasionally chambering. And they just wanted something that was going to be reliable, and I think that's where they went with that. Okay, I think that pretty much covers my P11. Finding the field manual was extremely easy. Keltec puts it out on their website. It also came with a paper field manual, so I wasn't worried about that. I had no issues finding that information, and everything I needed was inside of that field manual in order to properly maintain as well as take down this firearm.